Last week I was at Luna Springs for a Musti night, which was an Indian Bollywood night, and the diversity was just crazy.
I think in Birmingham we're quite lucky because there's quite a lot of free festivals that families can attend, and there might be cultural festivals like Diwali or the Vaisakhi Mela in big parks like Cannon Hill Park, or there might be food festivals in the centre of town. There's lots of things that you can take the family to that feel like an experience.
I'm part of an orchestra, and I see how the love of music brings us together from different backgrounds, and we find friendships and get to know people, and we belong in that place. In July, I took a group of pupils to perform in a concert at Symphony Hall, and it was amazing to see their excitement and enthusiasm when they came on the stage for the rehearsal at Symphony Hall. After the concert, there were so many parents who came to me and just said how proud they are that their children had the opportunity to play in a venue like this.
The one thing that I really like about Birmingham is the city is very multicultural, and which is very nice for me as an adult, and especially for my kid to be connected with different culture and from different countries.
توی کلیسا جایی که من هویت هنری خودم رو تونستم پیدا بکنم به سبب اینکه کامیونیتی ایرانی و من تونستم ارتباط برقرار کنم.
One point in my life I spent a lot of time living in the centre of Birmingham, so I was able to access a lot of the free bits and pieces, the festivals that you could go to, the different kinds of celebrations, so Chinese New Year, Eid celebrations.
Well, sometimes it's the smaller places where, when you make connections with people, that feels more like a way of accessing arts and culture, actual culture.
How do you access arts, culture, entertainment and recreation in your neighbourhood or city?
So the main way that I access it or get invited to things or get involved in stuff is if one of my friends asks me to come along. But the problem I'm finding is that my friends aren't going to things, so that means I'm not going to anything either. I wouldn't necessarily go and hunt down an event at the Hippodrome or that kind of stuff, because it's not very, like, for me it's not a natural way of encountering the arts. I want to walk out my door in the morning and something to just be happening.
موقعیتش به خونه ما خیلی نزدیکه، ولی یه چیزی که برای خود من یه مقداری عجیب بود، حالا من قبلا و حالا خیلی کمتر کار کاریکاتور انجام میدم، دوست داشتم وقتی میتونم حالا برم کتابخونه، چون کتابخونه یکی از جاهایی هست که معمولا اطلاع رسانی راجع به فرهنگ، راجع به کتاب، راجع به نمایشگاه، راجع به هر چیزی اونجا باید اطلاع رسانی خوبی بشه، ولی من این ضعف رو انگار میبینم. یعنی من خیلی دنبالشم که یه پوستر یا یه اطلاع رسانی، یه اطلاعی راجع به مثلا نمایشگاه کاریکاتوری، نمایشگاه چیزی پیدا بکنم، ولی واقعا نمیبینم توی کتابخونه که میرم، و شاید فقط این منوط میشه اگر که من برم سنتر و توی سنتر شاید اونم یه جاهای خاصش یه پوستری ببینم. و دیگه اصلا پوستر کاریکاتور من اصلا ندیدم توی این باز زمانی که حالا رفتم و اومدم توی کتابخونه یا جای دیگه.
I'm signed up to my university's art society, which, you know, they meet up weekly where you can do activities or learn about, you know, other opportunities that's available in Birmingham. But I'm also a member of the library, the main one in town, which you can sign up for a weekly newsletter where they will notify you if there's any kind of like art related activities, opportunities going on, mainly in the library.
Our access is not, you know, highest level to different events, because I rarely saw any poster or any advertisement for art event in maybe just they are available in the city center, but in the in this area that we usually walk to school, I've never seen any kind of advertisement for any art or mostly art event.
There's less to do that might interest me. There's usually a lot of kind of family stuff, family fun day, that kind of thing. There is sometimes a circus that comes nearby, but it's just kind of not usually things that I'm more interested in attending. Or entertainment for me.
One of those big things that we have in Birmingham that could be limiting is transport. So, you know, you really do have to think about, can you get the bus there? You can't really get the train there. You'd have to get the train to university and then walk. So it is a bit tricky to access these places if you don't have that ability to travel.
There's lots of entertainment, there's lots of shows, whether it's the Alex Theatre or the MAC or the pantomime. I'd really like to go to more of those stuff. Got the ballet as well, but I think they are very expensive. When you've got a family of 4, it all adds up. Panto is very expensive, and it's not just the actual product, the performances itself, it's parking and transport. I think recently, especially in the past year, I haven't made the effort to go to them because of the transport links back, because if your last train, if your trains are hourly in the evening and if you miss the 8:45, you've got to wait till 10, you're not back till 10:30. So that's puts a barrier in the way.
It can be difficult with affordability, the prices to get tickets for concerts, events in the city centre, and also the transport. I think sometimes it's expensive to find parking, pay for parking, and if I go on the bus, it doesn't always feel safe at night.
What are your experience of feeling included in art, culture, entertainment and recreation in Birmingham?
To say included to me would suggest that there are people who are pioneering arts and facilities that things to do with arts, and actually seeking people, and you can actually see them and they come and talk to you or they engage with you. There's no engagement.
خب این سوال رو من میتونم به 2 صورت جواب بدم. یکی این که هم خوشحالم، همزمان هم میتونم بگم که ناراحتم. خوشحال به خاطر اینکه به هر ترتیب من یک اجتماعی پیدا کردم به سبب اینکه زبان مشترکی داشتیم، تونستم وصل بشم به اونها و تو اون عرصه هنری که میتونستم و دوست داشتم بتونم شرکت بکنم، تو یک بخشش سهیم بشم و همزمان با انجام دادن اون عمل هم خوشحال باشم و همین که این آگاهی رو هم دارم که امکان پتانسیلش رو دارم که وصلم به اکیپ ها و بندهای هنری قوی تر، خصوصا توی بحث موسیقی و موزیک. میدونم که میتونم اون کار رو انجام بدم، ولی به دلیل همین مشکل عدم برقراری ارتباط، چون نمیتونم وصل شم، باز یه حس دوگانگی در من به وجود آورده که نمیتونم به اونها وصل شم. خود من و اشخاصی که مثل من هستن و توی شرایطی که من دارم زندگی میکنم اون شرایط مشابه هستن که مشکل برقراری ارتباط دارن و به خاطر همین موضوع عدم دسترسی دارن به مکانهای فرهنگی. جامعه های خودشون اینجا زیاد فعالیتی ندارن که بتونه حداقل از اون بعد هنری کامیونیتی خودشون استفاده بکنه.
The other day I was thinking a lot about carnival actually. So Birmingham used to have a big carnival. The great thing about carnival, and this is a more wide view of carnival, not just a kind of box ticking carnival where it's like, oh, we need to have this community and that community, and we need to make sure that we have the Asian dancing, we have to do this dancing, and we have to have that group. But see carnival of what it was originally intended for, which was like, anyone can apply for carnival, we'll get together, come up with ideas, and we'll do whatever it needs to be. Here's some space, it's yours. Here's some materials, it's yours. You get this whole show, and you can invite all your family and friends. Now make it. Go and do it. That's amazing. That's so empowering, because then you're not just doing the art, but you're making the art and you're being part of it.
The most recent cultural event to do with arts that I went to was the 0121 festival in Birmingham Town Centre. I heard people talking in the queue saying that they're charging £5 for entry into Independent Jamaican 0121 festival, which was a celebration of Jamaican Independence Day. And being that we don't have anything else to celebrate, it's a very important thing to have something happy and high vibration. You can see a good side of what it is to be Jamaican.
So it is like, do I feel inclusive? Well, you can only be included if you got the money to go. So this year I didn't actually go to the festival in the city centre because even though we had nice weather, I wasn't too chuffed about having to pay. That was a 3-day festival in the city centre, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And I was going to go on the Sunday, but I didn't end up going because I didn't want to pay. I don't think I should have to pay.
Unless I've got money, I'm not doing any of that anymore, essentially. And I'm not included as a poor person, let alone a disabled person.
هزینه‌اش یه مقدار بالاست، یعنی اگه بخوای نگاه بکنی هم بود مسافتی داره و هم هزینه‌ای و باعث میشه که خب آدم اقدام نکنه یا به ندرت این کار رو انجام بده.
There's nowhere for us to go and like expand our minds and just get maybe just peace and quiet, or to maybe just create our own art. There's no free spaces. There's no place for reflection or refuge anymore for culture and arts in Birmingham, I find, unless you know where the very small, very rare gems are. And again, they're normally behind a paywall. Just take accountability for the fact that you are doing this to people as like a whole council. You are letting down your people for wanting to expand their minds.
Like, I remember my first time knitting, it was at an after-school community centre thing, but I was introduced to knitting. So I'm not sure about now. I do hear that these places are being shut down or knocked down for other purposes. So I can't really comment on what it's like now for young people under the age of 18. But when I was younger, I felt like there was things for me to do. But it might have changed now, and if that's the case, then I do think we should bring those like community centres and like after school clubs and those kind of things back.
I was looking out for anybody that had a brown face, and then I saw one of my mates, and I was like, oh, like, we kind of clung to each other. I felt like we weren't so out of our depth, because we still have this imposter syndrome, and I've felt it even when I've been accessing arts and culture. I try not to, but yeah, I've thought, oh right, I'm the only brown person in here, why is that?
Because Birmingham is such a diverse city, I have learned a lot about different cultures, like Indian music, instruments, and also about Indian dance and other cultures, like the celebration of the Chinese New Year. There are big events in Birmingham that I've never experienced before.
I like to see something better, because Birmingham is the second big city in the UK. I was expecting to see more things in the second city of the UK.